Hello, thank you for having me. Firstly, I hope everyone can hear and see me. I will be popping links into the chat so that people can see as we go along. I think it'd be a bit confusing to go backwards and forwards with screen sharing, so that's the easiest way to go. I can also provide a summary of everything that I'm going to be sharing afterwards. So if you're thinking, whoa, we're going a bit quick, please don't worry. I'll be able to summarize everything afterwards. So the first thing I want to say is there's a lot of existing networks that you can link into, which will make things a lot easier. So you really don't need to make your own distribution list from scratch. You will have your own contacts which you can make use of. So I'm going to give you a quick summary of some of the things that I think could be useful, which would appeal to people from all sorts of different groups, because I appreciate you're here for different reasons. So if I can get started with the first thing that was advised. So we have distribution lists. So if I just put that into the chat. So where are we? Type message here. Sorry, my vision is not the greatest. There we go. So number one, our distribution list. So we have over 800 professionals subscribing to information we receive and research and are asked to share. So if you would like to get the word out there and you're in your group, please do get in touch with us. And if you want to remind people that you're out there, what you're doing, or maybe a new service, you're really, really welcome to get in touch and let us know, and we can look at sending that on. The one thing I would say is that we don't share anything chargeable because we're the council, if there is anything along those lines that you're interested in promoting. So the email address for that is coming up shortly. So let's just check I spelled that properly. Yeah, okay. So hopefully that will be a new resource to some people. Some of you, I'm sure, have heard already about that opportunity, but please, we don't bite. We love hearing about new stuff. It's not just on a on request to specific people. We're open to hear about the whole community. So next, if I can get my next link, there is the Norfolk Community Directory. Now, I'm hoping that you've all heard about this. There we go, next link added resource. It's a directory that covers the whole county, and the aim is to try and compile as much community groups and services and resources on there as possible. It's free to add an entry, and if you need some help, we have a lovely lady called Sarah Salmon. She can talk you through it. What that means is then that other professionals and members of the public can have a look at your entry, where you can list what you do, what you're looking to promote. You can even go back there and update it if things change, or you've got new services. So that's a county-wide directory. Next, if you are working in the west of the county, well, there is an area-specific directory called Lily, and I've just added a link for that there. So Lily, in some respects, very similar to the Norfolk Community Directory, but it just covers the West. I'm not going to go through the finer details in terms of differences, just because we've got a few things to share, but do have a look at that as well. All right, so moving on. So another directory where you can look at adding a free entry is Lumi. Lumi is Norwich specific. So if you are looking to highlight something in Norwich, that's one for you. So next, we have Brightmap. So I love Brightmap because I'm a visual person. I'm sure we've all had that experience where we've gone, where's that? Despite our Norfolk expertise, there's still the odd village, etc., where I'm like, no idea where that is. So Brightmap is, as it says, a digital map. And what I like is that it uses pins across a map of Norfolk that you can zoom in and out of. So you can either just zoom in with your mouse, or you can have a look by postcode or place name. So this was set up by the church, and it contains loads of groups. So if you are looking to promote particular groups, you can approach them and ask to be added. It's really simple to use because you have little icons, a bit like emojis, where, like, for example, musical notes to the choir, coffee morning would be a little steamy cup of coffee or tea. That's something that I find useful, because you can then see where it is in relation to somebody if it's near you, and then you don't have to worry about, you know, distance if you haven't quite got the Google map up. So moving on, I'm just conscious of time, so I hope I'm not whittling through this too quickly. Please feel free to say, please slow down if I'm going too quick. I just want to make sure you get lots of good things.
You're fine, Rosemary. You've got lots of time, actually. We're on schedule, so
okay. Yeah. Lovely. I'll slow down a little bit then. So next is something called the Stanborough Guide. So these aren't in every town in Norfolk, but there's quite a few towns listed. So Stanborough, I've no idea why they picked some of our towns, but they did. I'm very pleased. They produce handbooks for all the households in the towns that they selected, and each handbook is like a miniature directory for the residents there. So they list businesses, services. More importantly for us today, they also list groups and services. So they have a miniature A to Z, where they've got the topics. For example, they have one called Ladies Groups, which I think is quite quaint. But you know, it's very much an overview, which is area specific, which, especially if you don't have transport, is fantastic. So if you look at where they operate, the link I've just added, you can see an overview of all the towns, and you'd like to ensure that your group's listed because it's near one of those towns or in one of them. Please do get in touch with them, and then it's updated every year. There is a digital version online, as well as a free copy to each household in that town. So I'm going to stop at this point and check, have we got any questions so far? Because I have shared several things, so feel free to pop into the chat if there's anything you'd like me to elaborate on so far.
I just wanted to say to everyone as well, in case you're busy scribbling notes, is that we will save the chat, and I will make a sort of Q&A document. No, I sort of should have said it before. So so don't worry too much about taking too many notes, because you will get some feedback afterwards. But like Rosemary said, if you have any questions, then please put it. Yeah, Shell from Norwich Pride is asking about how many people use the Norfolk directory.
I'm sure we have some stats. I personally don't know. I do apologize for not having the answer to hand. If you'd like me to find out, I'm sure that somebody can pull those out. We have lots of more techie people than myself. I wouldn't want to hazard a guess. I'd like to think it gets used quite a bit because it's been promoted for many years. Having said that, that's meaningless. So would you like me to get back to you on that one?
If it's not too difficult, Rosemary, if you can easily find that information, that might be useful for us to send out.
Lovely. Okay. There were 8 talking newspaper routes in the county who are happy to receive information from community groups. Lovely. Yep. No. So although I'm covering a number of resources today, what I would also say, there may be distribution networks unique to your area of focus. So absolutely look for those. I have a favourite expression, which is shamelessly piggyback. Don't feel like you have to start from scratch from everything. You really will spend a lot of energy on something that won't necessarily have the benefit you're thinking it will if somebody's already got that distribution network. So what I'm highlighting today is in short plug and play networks where people can potentially leapfrog an awful lot of energy. So I just proceed with the next option. So the most local network you can look at is your parish or your town council. So if you're looking at highlighting a group to a particular geographical area, this could be a really good starting point. So you can, of course, Google or your parish and town councils, but that could take a fair bit of time. So this lovely website, NALC, Norfolk Association of Local Councils, has compiled a list of every parish council and town council in the authority. You can even filter by district. And then you've got your parish clerk contact details on there. Something that could be useful for groups where you really want to get the message out to everybody going. There is a digital newsletter that goes out to all of those parish and town councils. So you needn't compile the entire contact list of every parish and town council. That's already been done. I'll let you have a look at that later. Next, I'm just going to see, forgive me, I'm not so au fait with Zoom. Can I upload a document on here? Would it be easier to screen share?
I'm not sure. Probably screen share might be easiest.
Okay, right. I just get.
You are co-host, so you should be able to do this.
Right. Okay. Sorry, I've not done that bit before.
It's okay.
So right. So let's just find the right button to click on. So share screen. There we go. Oh, come on. Oh, share. Right. Hopefully this is coming through. Can someone say yes, they can see a Word document?
It's not come through. Oh, yes, it has now. Yeah. Sorry, it's just taking a bit of time.
Excellent. Oh, good. Going back to what I said earlier, lots of ready-made networks for distributing information. So these are all newsletters or information sharing networks. So some of these are going to be quite niche, for example, safeguarding, but some of them will be much broader. So for example, you've got Norfolk Older People Strategic Partnership. Some of these you should recognise. We've gone through them already, or I'm sure you're recognising the names there. But what I'd like you to take comfort in is there's a lot that once you know where they are, you can just share stuff with those networks, and off it goes like a lovely domino effect. So I just scroll down a little bit further. So there's a Norwich Older People's Forum. Some of these are national, so they won't be so relevant, but it's more the local ones that I was thinking of. So let me just go back here. Right. How do I unshare? Right. Forgive me. I'm clicking, but I can't. Stop share. Right. Okay. Got it. I don't use these very often, so apologies for the technical hesitations. One more link to pop in. So if you're a new group, you may be thinking, great, can I just have an overview, please, of what potentially is out there for me to share with? It may be a whole new world. So what I would say in that case is having a look on the Health Information Leaflet Service website. Translated into English, we have an in-house leaflets team at Norfolk County Council. They have a lot of health and social care information on there. Lots of organisations listed. So I'm not going to go too much into libraries because that's going to be covered by one of my lovely colleagues. The one other thing to say that has been touched on with the newsletters list that I just mentioned is early help hubs. So these are where lots of professionals from different organisations come together to share information, to support the families they're helping. Really good networking opportunity to meet other people, firstly. And secondly, good way of getting your information out there to say, hi, here we are. This is what we do. information will be passed around afterwards. I've got all their contact details for their meetings, what days of the week they meet on, and how you can get to join a meeting. It's district based, so that's hopefully easier to work out which one nearest is, or maybe all of them if you cover the whole county. Yeah, any questions? I hope I haven't gone through things too quickly for you all.
Thank you, Rosemary. That was really, I've learned such a lot, and I think I must remember to share the chat. I'm really worried that I won't now because there's so much valuable information in it. Thanks also to Tony for sharing the information about the talking newspapers. If anyone else has got things like that they want to share, this is a workshop, it is collaborative, so really welcome any sort of ideas. I'm sure Rosemary will as well, because we don't know about everything and it's always great to get new information. Does anybody, I can see there is a question from
GDPR.
Jackie Jones about GDPR.
Jackie, what I love about this system is that you don't have to worry about GDPR because you're passing on your blurb to share. You won't see all those contact details. They're not being shared with you. So it's like a forwarding effect. And what also I should mention is, imagine you're a member of the public or professional and you're overwhelmed potentially a bit with the amount of information you're getting. You're far more likely to look at a newsletter or a source that you trust and think, yep, they send me good information, it's worth looking at, than something completely new you've never heard of before. So by going through these distribution networks that are trusted and have already built up a good rapport with somebody, you're far more likely to be picked up and noticed. Because it's really hard in such a huge world of information to be seen, basically. So if you can also benefit from that component of piggybacking, sorry, I can't think of a better word, then you've also gained something that how much effort and energy could you otherwise put into creating the same trusted effect if you're new. It's really difficult when you are first starting out because nobody knows what you do. So I hope that answers that particular question.